So, what the world needs more of right now is people who are grounded and connected. Yeah. So, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. But this is not about politics. It's not about right or wrong. It's not about good or bad. It's not about what side you're on. It's not about convincing anyone or defending any viewpoint at all. Everyone is entitled to their beliefs, and really what we need is mutual honor and respect. Okay? But this world is so divided. But let's even scale back from the world being divided. What if it's in your own family? Like, what if your family is divided? It's so sad to see families who can't agree, who are so divided that they don't even speak anymore. And even in your own relationship, where are things divided in your own relationship? What about workplaces? In your own workplace, if it's again, divided, everybody, it's caught up in their own, right, wrong, good, bad, need to convince, it's just so divided. But what about even in your own heart? Are we divided in our own heart, in our own selves? So this is why I say what the world needs, what we need, each person, is to be grounded and connected. With that, why does grounding and being connected matter? So just for a minute, think about what the world would look like if everyone, or you know what, maybe not the world, just look at your own family. What would your family dynamics be? Or what would the world look like if everyone just took a few moments every day to ground their energy and then connect to a higher wisdom or their higher self, their highest possible version of themselves, whatever feels right. And then they stood up for their beliefs from that point, or they made a stand from that place. How would that change? How would that change you and even maybe your perspective, or change your family dynamics? Or how could that change the world? Because, without this grounding, which I'll get into, what is grounding and connection? I'll get into that. But without the grounding and connection, we get defensive. We get angry. We can get angry. We're fearful for sure, right? We get attached to things. We get attached to material things. Not the material things are bad. We just don't want to be attached to them, right? We get attached to blaming and shaming and, very closed mind. When we're not grounding and connecting, we can get very obsessed, with our own little closed mind ideas. So with grounding and connection, really, for me, honestly, grounding and connection is about feeling safe. It's about feeling safe in a world that is, feeding us a lot of fear, or maybe it's even in your own family, right? So it's our ability to feel safe in, say, a world or a circumstance that we don't feel very safe in, right? If we're looking for the outside world for our safety, we're going to be at the mercy of the outside world. But when we learn to ground and connect, we learn how to feel safe in our own body. We learn how to become more present, right? We learn how to open our mind and have, a broader perspective. Discernment, right? We've been very conditioned, right? So when we've been conditioned and then we see the world and we're caught up in all of the, say, drama or the fear, we need to learn how to discern what is coming in and what feels right within us. So you have your beliefs, and what you feel very passionate about. But if it's just all coming in from a place that you're being fed it, You need to learn how to ground and connect so you can discern what's coming in. And from there, you get clarity. We got to learn how to tap into compassion as well for ourselves and for others and for the world. And we're the only ones that can do this. We can't make others do it. And that's a big thing. It's like, oh, yeah, that would be, great, because I see all the people around me who really need this. And the more that you look outside of yourself and says, yep, they need to be grounded. They need to be connected, right? It's not me, it's them. When I start saying that, that means I need to get back to my own grounding and connection. And, that's not my business what anybody else does. What's my business is that I create safety in my body and in my life. Okay. And that's with grounding and connecting. So it is grounding. So I've been studying chakras for, decades. And the root chakra is how we take care of our physical body and feel safe and feel secure. And that's all about grounding, right? So you ground with nature. You ground in your body, right? You can, if you can't get out in nature, you can touch a tree or stand in the grass, but if you can't get out there, you can even just close your eyes and visualize you're somewhere in nature. That's grounding, right? You connect to your breath and you be still. That's what grounding is. It calms the nervous system, and it doesn't take long. And quite honestly, the more often you do it, it really just, it's the intention of it. It just takes, ground, breathe, be still. It takes just a couple of minutes to do, especially when you do it on a regular basis. And in that couple of minutes, you create safety and security in your own body. And then from there, you make better choices for your body. You start taking much better care of your body. You start making better choices for yourself. And so creating safety is an inside job. It has nothing to do with what's going on in the outside world. And from that space, we can start to, treat our bodies like a temple. We start to move it or find balance between moving and resting and stretching and eating nourishing food and getting proper sleep and all that stuff. We get to spoil our body, treat it like a temple. But if you're not grounded in your body, that's harder to do. Okay, so that's the grounding aspect of it. So where's the connection part of it? Right? We need to be grounded and connected. Well, the connection is, if I'm looking at the chakra system, it's the root is the first chakra, crown chakra is the seventh, the one at the very crown at the head. This is about, I'm going to say first, connecting to your higher self. We all have a higher self. It is that intention to integrate the highest possible version of yourself into this moment, into this conversation, into my day, into, whatever is going on. And from that place, well, let me just stay there for a minute. How do you integrate with the highest possible version of yourself? Once you're grounded, you come into your heart space and just say, okay, what is a higher version of me? Is there a part of me that can be more open-minded? Or it's, that wise, discerning part of me, that kinder part of me, the compassionate part of me? Can I bring forth that? Okay. So when we learn how to connect with our own higher self, that's also tapping deeper into our intuition. So again, this is where the discerning comes from. We've got all this stuff coming in at us. If I'm grounded and I'm connected with my higher self, that highest possible version of myself, I can really start to discern what's coming in and what feels right for me. And then from there, and only if you're comfortable, you invite in a higher wisdom. And whatever that is for you, it really, for me, it's like inviting in unconditional love or a higher healing, a higher consciousness, right, from the universe. That can be your God, that can be angels, it can be your loved ones that have passed away, but it's just be open to a higher wisdom. You got to connect to that higher self first. And from there, you start to drop attachments, because that blocks this ability to tap into your higher self and a higher wisdom, right? If you need to be right, blocked. Okay, if you've got all these thoughts and beliefs that are around fear or, around, again, needing to prove your point or needing to defend yourself, blocked, right? So this is about, releasing attachments to like your rigid beliefs and then opening up your mind and being more curious and be willing to be guided by, say, a higher love or your higher self. So that's the grounding and the connected. So if we all took the time, and again, it doesn't take long, ground your energy, come into your heart space, intend or just invite in a higher love or a higher healing. Then live your life from that place, or start your day from that place, or fight your battles from that place, from this place of being grounded and connected. Set your boundaries from this place. Make a stand from that place. Have that difficult conversation from that place. What we all need is to be grounded and connected. Everybody does. That's how we create safety within and in a world, or maybe your family, or even in your own heart that is so divided. This is what we all need. So that's what this week's intention is. Ground. Create that safety within yourself with grounding practices. And it's very simple. It's very, very simple. Second part of it is connect to your higher self, that higher possible version of yourself. So just take a moment. If you're seated or you can stand, it really doesn't matter. Feel your feet into the earth. Feel your sitting bones on the chair that you're sitting upon. And just allow yourself to sit up a little taller. You can close your eyes and just place maybe a hand of your hands on your heart and just breathe. Feel the connection. You could even visualize growing roots down into the earth from your sitting bones or from your feet. And just come into your heart. Just breathe. What would that higher version of myself be? One that's a little more compassionate, maybe towards myself or the world or others. Kinder, more open. Right? More intuitive. And just connect to that. And then if you want to take it further, just visualize some energy coming up, just like we connected to the earth below, Mother Earth. We connect higher up. Just invite in a higher love, a higher healing. And then you just stay there for a couple of minutes, 5 minutes. It feels wonderful. If you make time, 10 minutes. And I'll tell you, when you do these two things, when you practice being grounded and connected, I do it every morning, but throughout my day, I notice things. Like if I feel overwhelmed, I know I need to take a moment to just ground and connect myself. I can also get really up there and get almost too connected sometimes. And, certain things that I do, if I'm, channeling or reading cards or whatever, I want to be more connected. Well, after that, I need to make sure I ground myself a little more. And I can't do that connected stuff without being grounded in my body, right? But afterwards, I need to ground a little more. So you start to learn, again, if the world is crazy and fearful, I can feel myself, wait, I need to ground and connect here before I, let my fearful mind, I get attached to all of those, old conditionings and old beliefs. So once you have a practice of grounding and connecting, you can use it throughout the day. And when you have these practices of grounding and connecting, you're going to take care of your human body. That's what this is about. This is about feeling safe in your body. And if you're not making good choices for your body, you're not taking care of your human body, you're not going to feel safe. So it starts with grounding your energy, connecting with your higher self, maybe a higher healing, a higher love. Then from that place, that's where you show up for your day. That's where you start taking care of your body. That's where you start making better choices. That's when you start releasing those attachments, right? Your heart opens. You feel less divided in your own self than everywhere else you go out in the world starts to shift and change. The workplace, the family, Again, the world, we cannot change anybody outside of us. We can only do this for ourselves. Okay. So I am just going to add trust in there, right? Trust that guidance is actually available to you, right? That you can actually tap into a higher love, a higher healing, a higher wisdom. Okay. And then finally, once again, live from that space. This doesn't mean, block out what's happening in the world or turning a blind eye. No, if you've got things that you need to make a stand for, you've got something very passionate that you need to fight that fight or make a stand or set your own boundaries, whatever it is, do that. That's what the world needs. But the world needs you to take that stand or set your boundaries. Or, maybe it's a health issue. You gotta fight that battle, whatever it is, whatever. Do it from a grounded and connected place. And if the world can start to do that, oh my goodness, would we ever see a shift? But we can't do anything about the world. We can only make this choice for ourselves. So make that choice for yourself today and make this a daily intention for yourself. It doesn't take that long, but it will shift everything. That's what our intention is this week. Have fun with this and have an open mind and just have a fabulous week. Thank you, my friends. Namaste.